Hey, what's up, guys? Hope everyone is good and having a superb day. So, I'm getting back at you now with the second solo podcast in the last 2 days. So, very busy one. This is going to be. I wasn't going to do another one so quick, but the last one got a really decent response. Like, I'm no big YouTube guy or anything like that, and I don't expect to be because I don't really care about it to be big on YouTube. That's not the goal. But it got like over 150 views in like less than 24 hours, and for me that's like quite good, you know. So I was quite happy with that, and I was really impressed with people who actually liked it. So that's good, and if I can help a couple of people, then I'll fucking do it, guys. You know. First off, what do you think of the glasses? What do you think? Superb, superb, yeah, 10. These are very beneficial when I'm looking in the lens. The lens, yeah, you mean the laptop. So questions, I'm not going to be able to do all these, impossible to be honest, because I didn't think I was going to get this many questions. As you can see, lots and lots of questions. I'm not going to get through all these, but I'm going to try my best. Okay, so I'm just going to jump straight in. Update with me. It doesn't really need to be done because nothing's changed from Sunday, Monday, Sunday, Saturday night. Nothing's changed. Unfortunately, it's been the same old thing since the last 2 days. So I'm going to crack straight into the questions. Really, I'm just going to blast, and then blast and cruise. Yeah. So we've got a question from Bogner_Chris. I hope I pronounced your name right, mate. So constipation whilst dieting. What can cause it? You and your clients ever experienced it? Yeah, absolutely. So I have experienced it, and my clients have as well. Now, this can be down to the main thing that's going to be down to is the fact that you're eating less. Pretty much, you know, you're not going to be eating as much food, therefore, not as much food is going to be passing through the GI. Essentially, most people as well tend to, even though some people's veg intake and fiber intake increases when they diet, still, just because of the lack of calories coming in, the turnover is just not going to be as efficient. Now, have I experienced it? Yes. So, now, what did I do when I was prepping? I had this problem. I could never go to the toilet properly when I was dieting. TMI, but I just couldn't do it. So what did I do? I ordered some psyllium husk for my protein, and I took about I think it was about 15 grams upon wake, and then like 15 grams around lunchtime, and then that would allow me to sort of go to the toilet as and when I needed to. But I think when you diet down and you're in a deficit, I think you're not going to be going to the toilet as much. I don't worry about it. Like I used to really get stressed about like bowel movements when I was dieting. This is really TMI, because essentially, if you're not going to the toilet properly and you feel like you need to, you're going to be heavier on the scale, which is a nightmare when you're trying to diet, especially when your mindset is like, okay, competition, you need to diet, you need to lose body fat. But I think stress can be an issue with that as well when you're worried about it a lot. But what I would do and what I suggest to my clients is just to increase your water, increase your vegetable intake, and potentially buy a fiber supplement. So I use obviously my proteins, fiber, just like psyllium husks. Then I used a greens product, and that helped. I was always okay, but it's largely dictated down to how much food you're putting in, I believe. So moving on, my client Jenny. So dumbbells or barbells when it comes to incline pressing? I don't particularly like barbells. Now, rationale always needs to be rationale. Does there though? Doesn't always need to be rationale, does there? I don't really like barbells. I'm going to give you some reasoning though behind that. I can't just say like a statement and say, well, why? You've got to answer it. Barbells don't really allow for a full chest contraction, I find, for me, because if you think about it, you're limited with where your elbows can go. If you're pressing on a dumbbell, you're able to bring the midline of the arm across to sort of there, if that makes sense. So the fancy word that people would always use is humerus to the midline, or I could just say bring my elbows together, because I don't want to I don't want to use fancy words. So think about when you're pressing, keep your shoulder blades back, retracted, scapula down and back, locked down. Scapula locked down. As you come down here, keep your shoulder blades back and down. So think about when you're in this position, driving elbows in. There's a full contraction. And all of this kind of crap is not. You're going to get a lot of front delt and not as much chest, okay? But I don't particularly like barbells. I really don't particularly like barbells for pressing. Now, I'm going to go a huge U-turn on that statement and just completely reverse engineer that and say, well, I don't particularly like barbells, but I did a decline bench the other day, which was actually amazing. Like, honestly, like I got a good amount of soreness and I got a really good pump. So incline and flat don't really do well for me, but a barbell decline is always good. But I prefer dumbbells, essentially. To be honest with you, I prefer to just use like a hammer incline Smith press, a hammer machine press. They have one at my gym, but they don't. So I can't. I hope that makes sense. Hope I've answered your question, dude. So I got another one from my client, Kieran. So, what's your mindset when you go into a heavy set? That's a good question. So when I'm doing a heavy set, like a set of hacks or RDLs, I'm able to I'm able to channel a lot of emotion within it and put it into the set. So I'm quite a deep thinker, to be honest. When I train, I'm not there to just fuck around, to be honest. I'm there to seriously to get to work, because I know where I want to get to physique wise. I know where I want to be bodybuilder wise and competitive wise. I want to be a pro natural bodybuilder, and I haven't got the best genetics in the world, but what I have got is a good mindset, and I can train pretty hard, and I'm consistent. So going into big sets, I always think about things that bothered me in my life, like potential things that I haven't achieved that I wanted to achieve, perhaps. Things that have fucked me off mentally. It could be something small, it could be something big. I could think of something that annoys me, and I'm able to sort of almost channel this crazy rage into a set, which is a bit weird for sure. I mean, not many people can do that, I don't think, but I don't know. I'm a very, 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 very emotional, deep thinker when I train, and if I need to call upon something to sort of allow me to perform that set well, I can and I will, and I'll find this headspace where I can almost roll my eyes into the back of my head. Certain songs give me like chills, and I'm able to sort of roll my eyes in the back of my head, and I just think about everything that I want to achieve, and every time I've been doubted, and every time people said, you won't be able to do this, you won't be able to do that, and I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm going to fucking show you. And, that starts within this set here to be better than last week. Hope that makes sense. Very sort of like deep thinking that goes into it for me. But, that seems to be what works. So I've got another question from Jenny. So client had prepped for 30 weeks, then made the finals. Would diet break or reverse? If you're in legit condition, so your stage condition, and there's no more to come off, then we start reversing calories up. Now, if you've qualified for the finals and there's still body fat to come off, and you've got 12 weeks to the finals, what I'd most likely do is, depending on how fatigued the individual was and how they felt, I'd most likely diet break for maybe 1 to 2 weeks with raised carbohydrates, and then post 1 to 2 weeks, I'd look to start digging for fat loss again and get them ready for subsequent shows, going on later, subsequent shows, i.e. the finals. But if you're not dug out, peeled, if you're dug out and peeled, you're going to reverse your calories up in a sensible manner. If you're not, you're going to keep you may have a diet break, but you're going to keep essentially dieting after the diet break to get the rest of the fat off. Hope that makes sense. In an ideal scenario, I think you want to almost do the qualifier, finish the qualifier, obviously win the qualifier, and still have a little bit more to come off, so then you can show the judges something different at the finals. That'd be my mindset when I next compete, and obviously for this year for my clients. Hope that makes sense, dude. So, question from I don't want to get the name wrong because I really like this guy, so I'm going to actually just Alistair, that's it. I really like this guy. This is AJ's client, Alistair. Your surname comes up strange in here, mate. So Alistair Fitness. A really cool guy, one of AJ's clients. So programming for weak body parts such as arms when forming contractions is good. So first off, you've obviously answered half of the question. Initially focus on making sure that you're getting the area short like properly. So what I would firstly look at is multiple exercises and getting them strong, getting your biceps stronger in a multitude of rep ranges. So some low rep work with some medium rep work and some high rep work. Now, once you've got, you're getting them stronger in a different variety of rep ranges, and you're focusing on getting the area short. So potentially you're getting the area short in an overhead manner. So this is, with your elbow supported in this sort of position, in this plane of motion, and you're doing another bicep curl with a sort of with your elbow, with your shoulders back like that, and you're able to contract it up there. So you're getting your biceps short in different planes of motion, and everything's perfect. Then and they're not responding, or biceps or any sort of movement or any sort of body fat. Sorry, my next thought process would be, okay, cool. Well, let's probably increase training volume. So if you're doing 6 sets of arms twice a week, so you're doing 12 sets of arms and they're not responding, maybe go up to 16 sets, maybe add another couple of sets on per move. And again, if they're still not responding and they're extremely lagging, potentially look to add in stuff like maybe even some rest pause work, some drop set work, again, providing that contractions and executions are perfect. And again, if they're still not responding, just keep increasing volume until you get a bit of soreness in the area, perhaps. And then it's going to be a case of just being patient from there. Hope that makes sense. So, question, Rory, he's asked quite a few questions, so I'll smash through these. So, were you a personal trainer on the gym floor before going online? Yes, I was. I was a PT for 3 years. So, yes, I was. So, another one from Rory. Did you take on courses to help you transition to a full-time coach? Did I take on courses? No, I didn't do any courses. I was coached by one of my best friend, AJ, for 2.5 years before even thinking about coaching anyone. So I knew what top level service, top notch coaching was from him, of course, before I even thought I had any idea, like, okay, cool, now I can actually coach other people and charge them money. I was being coached by someone, by the best, So I didn't do any courses, but I was coached by the best, and I learned a fuckload in that period of time. And I did a lot for free at the start. So I did a lot for low cost to gain experience. Did I do any courses? I didn't do any courses. No. Obviously, my knowledge and my educations has improved drastically over the last 6 months because I'm just learning off better people more. So I'm just doing more, listening to more podcasts. I plan to go to more seminars this year, and just being very open with my mindset now. Just accepting that. Yeah, I mean, I've got an okay amount of knowledge, but there's way more people knowledgeable than me, and I'm willing to learn from whoever I need to learn to be a better coach, bodybuilder. Hope that makes sense, dude. Oh, the phone's locked. That's poor news. So, Muscle Monster Hull. Views on AMMP subs, like when to best take vitamin C, multivitamin. So, best time to take vitamin C, multivitamin. I would say the best time would be when you're able to keep it consistent and you actually remember having it. Other than that, I don't think there's a best time for it. I would keep vitamin C away from keep it away from when you have caffeine, because caffeine can blunt the effects of vitamin C. So I would keep the window a couple of hours potentially, but I don't see, other than that, I don't see any different sort of worried about times having it. I think the best time would be just when you remember to have it, keep that consistent. So a message from one of my clients, Henry. So, best way to grow a coaching business, Instagram. So you did actually watch my YouTube video on this earlier. So if you haven't watched that, watch that. If you want a bit more insight on that, but I can just sort of go over a few things. The best way to grow a coaching business on Instagram. So number one would hands down be just consistency every day. Now, you'll find that the market is saturated with coaches, but you've got to almost stand out in a sense. You've got to go the extra mile and do a little bit more. So be very, very, very frequent with your uploads on social media. Try your best to sort of, post to and about the people you want to coach. So I coach at the moment. I coach a lot of bodybuilders, a lot of bikini girls, a lot of figure girls, a lot of lifestyle clients. So my content can be across the board. So it can be bodybuilding-esque content, competitive content, or it can be just, I've done some fat loss posts, some calorie comparison things in the past. So just be consistent with your content. And then when it comes to growing an online business, I would say take on a couple of clients for free, and get some results, learn how to coach. Obviously you're being coached by me, mate, so you would have learned a fuckload anyway. I'm not just saying that to blow my own trumpet, because you would have learned a lot from being coached by me, because you know what coaching's like. So moving forward, you should take on maybe a couple of clients for free, no cost, get some results, get a few cool transformations, get a few testimonials, start talking about your clients more on your social media once you've got some results, and then just keep that consistent and just keep doing that. But consistency over a long period of time, doing stuff for low cost, and just not giving up, accepting that you're going to have months where you maybe earn no money and you maybe lose money. I've had months where that's happened. I know loads of people have, and you just got to push through those periods, come out the other side, and it will be worth it. Okay, hope that helps, buds. But I know you watched my coaching video yesterday, so I know that helped as well. So, Rory again, how do you know what programs you're going to create, e.g. push, pull, legs? So this depends on the person. So if I get someone who's reasonably experienced in the gym, then potentially they could be doing a 5-day split, maybe even a 6-day split, depending on experience. But if I get someone who's quite novel and new to training, I'd always get them to do the minimum effective dose. Minimum effective dose, yeah. So the minimum effective volume in the gym, so people love that word. So I get them doing the least amount for the maximum amount of gains and results, so to speak. So if you were training 3 times a week and you could only do 3 times, I do full body sessions, to be honest. If you were doing 4, upper, lower, if you could progress to 5 and your training experience was decent, then we could do push, pull, legs, upper, lower. If you were doing 6, you could do push, pull, legs. But again, it's a lot of this is dependent on the individual. I think I'm always going to favour a higher frequency, medium volume approach to anyone's training. But again, it is highly dependent on that person. It's hard to really say. But what you need to do is obviously get the information from your client that you're going to be taking on, ask them why and what they're doing, how they've been going about doing it, and then, moving forward and creating a plan based on that. I hope that makes sense, dude. So, Ollie Brock, what advice would you give to anyone looking to start coaching, do's and don'ts? So, I wouldn't say there's any do's or don'ts. Actually, it's a lie. So, do's and don'ts. Let's do the don'ts first. Don't copy people's Instagram posts by the word. Yeah, don't do that. I see that so much, and it's funny because you see people doing that, and I know I'm not going to obviously say any names because that would be very stupid of me. But I know there's some guy on Instagram who I follow who copies people's posts, but then puts up text form stories saying how do people. You always get caught out copying. But then I've got print screens on my phone of him copying other people. And it's like, what the fuck? So if you copy people or send over copied and pasted plans, you'll get caught out. Trust me, I've got many a screenshot, which I'm not going to post because it's just pointless. I don't want to do that kind of thing. But it's always in the locker. It's always in the locker if you need it. So don't copy people and don't send over copied and pasted plans. Don't try and earn a quick buck for fucking people over. Don't push people onto drugs and crazy low calorie dieting just to get a transformation and then 2 weeks later they're fucked up. Don't do that. Do care about your client. Be consistent. Be very patient with the process. Do a lot of shit for free. And be open to different ideas and opinions about how you can go about what you're doing. Be positive. Be mindful about how other people feel. Be the best coach you can be, and always be willing to learn. Those would be my do's and don'ts. Okay, buds? So Tom Hazel, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but you think if you lowered food in prep instead of 30k steps, you may get more muscle. Now, perhaps, absolutely. But unfortunately, when you're in that kind of hole of dieting, you want to just do more and then just keep doing more. Unfortunately, that just seems to be the world when you're in a prep. But yeah, I think if I would have dropped my steps, maybe my legs could have been a bit better, perhaps. But in that moment, Tom, it was a case of let's get the fat off quickly because I'm competing in a few weeks. Now, you may not have the luxury of being able to lower activity. If you're not lean enough, you are doing more. Simple as that. Now, if I have a client this year who's not ready at 6 weeks out and we need to push, I will push them, because you need to be in shape on stage. If you're not in shape, you will not get looked at. Now, if I wasn't as lean as I was on stage, I would not have any of those fucking trophies over there, because I was not the most muscular. I'm never going to be the most muscular, so I had to get dug out for my levels of muscularity, and I did that, which awarded me the placings that I got last year. So I hope that answers your question. I think if you're prepping and you're not lean enough, you've got to just do what the fuck you've got to do to get in shape, okay? So another question. So aside from training, coaching, do you have any other hobbies? Sushi. I absolutely love sushi. I like going to the cinema. I don't do that often anymore, but I love going out I love going for coffee. I love going for sushi. I love going to the cinema. I need to do more of that kind of stuff. But right now, where I'm at business-wise and coaching-wise and competitive-wise with my athletes this year, I don't have loads of time, to be honest. I'm in the thick of it at the moment with everything, with business, with prep. Like, I've got 2 clients competing in the next less than a month, so I'm on that like a fucking car bonnet at the moment. So I'm just staying on top of those people. I don't have loads of time. Like, my days are busy with work. I'm running obviously a full coaching business now. I'm launching my website in the next 2 weeks, which is going to have a load of fucking video content on there, which is going to be awesome, which I can't wait to do. It's going to have merchandise. It's going to have hoodies, t-shirts, hats, all that kind of shit, which people want, and I'm going to give it to them. Yeah. So that will be done in a few weeks. But aside from what I've gone over, I'm not really a party guy. I've never really been, let's go and get smashed. I've never really been like, let's go and take some cocaine, stuff like that. I don't like any of that. I don't like doing that. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. So, worst type of person you would hate to be trapped in a lift with? Wow, that's a great question. I would say that's a fucking good question. That I would say the worst type of person, my worst type of people I want to be around are people who talk shit about you behind your back in an indirect story post. But then when you see them in person, they shut their mouth, and then 2 months later they ask you for coaching. That would be my fucking pet hate person. It's a true story, that as well. I'm coaching the person, which is funny. So, do you have any favourite categories when it comes to competitions? Yeah, bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding, favourite category. I'm gonna do 2 more. I'm gonna choose a couple of good ones. I'm not gonna talk about coaching anymore because I've done too many of them. So I'm going to do Ralph. I got one from Ralphio the Kid. Ralphio. I gave him that surname, by the way. So, philosophy of bodybuilding. Is it a sport, a lifestyle, art form, pageant? Why not? I would say it is a sport. I think it's a sport. I think it's a fucked up sport. I don't think it's a very normal sport. But I do think it's a sport. And a sport and a lifestyle. It has to be a lifestyle. If you're competing and you're doing it properly, you won't be able to do it properly if it's not a lifestyle. Well, you will perhaps, but you're just going to look shit on stage. Unless you're living it, you're never going to have get the best results on stage. I wouldn't say it's a pageant really with natural bodybuilding. We're not doing Miami Pro. We're not doing pure elite. All right, well, I'm not personally. That doesn't interest me. I think though, like WBFF, I think those things are more like pageants. You get like judged on like your actual like looks, like not your physique, just actually how you look, visually, facially, like model wise. So I think there are some stuff like that. There are some shows like that, but for me, I think it's a sport. I think the philosophy of bodybuilding teaches you basic fundamentals such as consistency, adherence, self-discipline, sacrifice. I honestly think it's probably one of the most zen things that I've ever done, and it just, the whole lifestyle about it of being better daily is like obsessive for me. I find it very obsessive, but I love it, man. Like, I wouldn't choose to do anything else, to be honest. My favourite thing is bodybuilding. If you want to talk to me, if you see me at Body Power, come talk to me about bodybuilding, and I'll bring me a black coffee. No, not black coffee. Fuck black coffee now. I don't want black coffee because I don't want to. I'm not dieting. Get me a skinny latte. they're the one. From Starbucks though. If it's from Costa, I won't be happy. But yeah, if you see me at Body Power or whatever, like come chat to me about bodybuilding, and I'll talk to you for as long. I'll talk to you all day about bodybuilding because I fucking love it. So I'm going to do one more. This is a good question. So why is post-show just as important as prep? It really is. And I think post-show, people think that, oh, I've got more calories in me, I can do more. No, you fucking can't. Post-show, you need to back off. So one thing I did wrong last year was went in post-show thinking I'm going to be strong as fuck. I wasn't. I was actually still shredded and just had some water on me from eating more food. And then you realise that you're just digging a hole. So post-show is just as important as prep. You need to treat post-show as like a deload phase. And then you need to also think about being very consistent and adherent with your calorie intake. Like, too many people get very fat post-show. I was one of those people, although in hindsight you would look at it and think maybe you weren't. But I think I pushed up post-show because I just had to push up to get out of the hole that I was in from dieting. Which is, I think that happens all the time really if you're competing, no matter how optimal the post-show rebound is or whatever you want to call it. But it is really important. If you fall off, you're going to get very fat very fast, which is going to lead you down a whole of avenues, which will leave you very depressed, potentially hating your training, hating how you look. So I think post-show, you need to be controlled. Post-show needs to be just as important as prep. You need to manage the post-show window, which I think can be anywhere up to 6 months. Like, I don't even feel fucking normal after post-show. Like, I'm not even joking. I don't even feel normal around food. I still feel a bit weird around food, you know? I have to try and just shut it out, to be honest, because it's not, like, a bit weird about food still. I don't really have that much of like a sex drive from being dieted last year. It's fucked, isn't it? I know it takes so long, but I think post-show you need to accept that you're not going to be growing. You're not going to be building any muscle. You need to back off and you need to gain body fat at a slow and sensible rate. Initially 5 pounds and slow it down, I think, will be the best way to approach it depending on the weight of the male or female. Okay, but that's pretty much everything. I think 27 minutes is perfect. I'd watch a podcast for 27 minutes. Wouldn't watch an hour one on here because it's just a bit long. But I hope that makes sense, guys. Obviously, if you have any questions, fire them across. DM me on Instagram. I'll leave my comment section below. And yeah, we will go from there. But I hope that all makes sense. Any questions, guys, let me know. And we will obviously potentially chat very soon. Cheers, guys.